In this video, we're going to do a practical study using the new tool we developed called Lexoscope. If you haven't seen any of the other videos, Lexoscope is a comprehensive digital tool that anyone can use to perform sophisticated morphological, syntactic, semantic, and even translational analysis of the New Testament Greek and King James Version English texts. It's designed to help you work with those texts in conjunction with each other. Let's take a look at a little presentation here. Lexoscope, a Greek-English study tool, and its purpose. Lexoscope's purpose is not designed to correct or replace the English Bible. We wanted to make that very clear here at the beginning. It's not intended to try to, a lot of people want to say they go to the Greek to correct the English or to enhance the English or something. It's not designed for that. It's designed to complement the Greek. And it's also for each language to complement each other. It's intended to aid believers in seeing how Bible words are used within the Bible itself. The etymological and morphological study of words can be helpful, and it can be interesting. But they are not the primary means of determining the meaning of words. Now, we need to make that very, very clear. We'll give you some examples in just a moment. But root studies, etymological studies, or morphological studies even, they are not the rule, or they are not the sole arbiter of how you determine the meaning of words. Context is always the true source of meaning in every instance. The meaning of a word's origin may have little to do with the actual meaning when the word is used. Take the word nice, the English word nice, for instance. That word originally meant to be ignorant or foolish. And if you do an etymological root study of the word nice, that's what you get, that someone is ignorant. But nice doesn't mean that today, not at all. It can mean many things, but ignorance is not one of them. Another word is awful. By its root, it means full of awe or wonder. And, that's how the word awe is used in the Bible. But today it means that something is terrible or bad. It's like a kid saying that their spinach is awful. I don't like it. It's distasteful. It's nasty. Even naughty. The word naughty. From its root, it means poor or needy, which kind of stands to reason because the word not means none or empty. It's not there. But we know what the word naughty is used as today. So meanings are determined from context, and context is the king. You've heard that. If you've read much at all, context is the king. Notice what some linguists have said. It is the use of a word and not its derivation that determines its meaning. Never before in the history of Christianity has there been less need for word studies than today. And the reason for that is we have complete Bibles today. We can see the words in their context. We don't have to try to determine what some little snippet of text or a word means apart from context. We can see it within its context. And then 9 times out of 10, you will gain a better understanding of what a word means simply by reading it in its context. You don't have to go to the dictionary. You don't have to go to the lexicons. You don't have to go to the experts. Just read the word in its context, and the context will dictate what the intent of the author is. Once a Bible student learns how the King James Version translates and uses various Greek words and then reads those words in their context, he'll be able to see through a lot of the claims that meaning is derived from the Greek roots or that meaning is lost during translation. That's one reason we developed Lexoscope, so we can vindicate the King James Bible, so we can show that the King James Bible is an accurate translation of the Greek and that Greek and English work together perfectly. Lexoscope will show how the English translation is correct and that many of the so-called Greek nugget claims are fallacious and flawed. Many words in nearly any language change their meaning according to context. Here's some examples. Take the word light. Light, a very simple, very common word. We use it, that book is very light to carry. Well, see, that just means the book doesn't weigh very much. That car has a light collar, so it's a lighter collar. See the light shining out of darkness. This is physical light shining out of darkness. Jesus lighteth or enlightens every man that cometh into the world. This is spiritual light. So here we have 4 ways light is used. And the thing is, the etymology of light can only refer to one meaning if it refers to any of these at all. See, it only has one root and one meaning. But here context shows that every one of these ways that light is used, it has a different meaning. So this is fascinating. So even some believers, they like to use Strong's definitions, or Strong's Concordance and his definitions, to claim a word is mistranslated in the King James Version or other Bible. But this is a flawed and dangerous practice because dictionaries can only provide a limited range of meaning. Again, context reveals the intent. And for this very reason, that is why that we have put 3 separate methods of viewing words in their context in our Bible study tool called Lexoscope. And we will look at a practical use. We'll take a Bible word and we'll run it through Lexoscope, and we'll just see how the Greek and the English complement each other. All right, now we're going to do a practical study with Lexoscope using a single word from the Bible. Now that word could be a Greek word from this column. It could be a Greek lemma from this column. It could be a transliteration from this column. It could even be a Strong's number. But we're going to do a English word. And to do that, if the word is not found here closely where we can control and click it to put it in the entry box, we'll just type in KJV, because that is our English text, equals, and then type the word. You want to use quotes if you're going to type more than one word or a phrase. But let's type the word, very common word called love. We do that and hit enter, and we see that there are 520 results or times that the King James word love is found. That is, now I need to clarify that. See these brackets? There's certain words that have brackets, and those could be pronouns that are referring back to love. That's in this case. See here it says pronoun. Anytime you see a bracket, it means it's being referred back. So the actual word on that line may not be the word that you're searching for, but it refers back to that word. So that's something you have to keep in mind when you're using Lexoscope. It will show pronouns, even adjectives, and it shows what they are referring to. So keep that in mind. But anyway, we found the word love. We've got every instance of the word love. If you want to, it could also be like here, beloved. If you want to only search strictly for the exact string, you can click the whole word search again, and then it will only find the word love. But let's go back the way it was, and you'll notice we usually think of the word love as a verb. I love you, somebody loves somebody, or something that we think of it as an action word. But when you look here very quickly, you realize that love is also used as a noun. Now, I'll show you how on these columns, see the part of speech here? We'll click the column, and it sorts them. Now, these are the adjectives where they're used as like beloved, well beloved, beloved. And these would be missing if we did the whole word search. But here it is as an adjective. But notice, here we have love as a noun. And that's interesting. You would never know that if you didn't have a way to, to distinguish them in a tool such as Lexoscope, unless you were parsed the sentence as you were reading it and understanding that it was a noun. But say, for instance, let's look at them as verbs. And the way we do that is we simply type verb here, and that will filter according to it only shows love that is a verb. You can filter by any of these column titles, these column names. So now we find the word love. We find only where love is a verb. And you'll notice several things. There are different moods. There are lots of different moods that are part of the verb, an attribute of the verb. Here we have a tense, like there's a future tense, present tense, an active voice, and then a mood. There's an indicative mood, there's an imperative mood. If you want to see what those mean, go to the help file, go to definitions, go down here to where it speaks about verb categories, and here's verb moods. An indicative mood states a fact or asks a question. Subjunctive expresses doubt. Imperative gives a command. So here, just from that, you can notice what type of verb you're dealing with here. And it's they can be filtered according to these as well. If you want to find just the indicative verbs, just put indicative up there. I can show you how to do that. You just control and click. And notice how it put it up there? And if we click search, it would only show the indicative. But before we do something like that, let's scroll down to one of the famous passages that deals with love and show that there are different terms that are used for love, different Greek terms. And there are basically two. There's another one or two, but the basic ones are agape, or here it's called agapeo, the transliteration. And the other one is phileo. And if you've ever read anything about Greek nuggets and so forth, you'll find that they make a big mention in John chapter 21 where Jesus Christ is talking to Peter. And he says, Peter, lovest thou me? Notice, here's the verse. So when they dined, Jesus said unto Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? And then Peter said unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. And people will make a lot of comments about how Jesus used the word agapeo, but where Peter uses the word phileo. And they will say agapeo means this great godlike love that only God can have, and phileo just means kind of like a friendly love, just kind of an affectionate love. Well, now, how true is that? It's very, very easy to find that if we go through and look at the instances where phileo is translated as love, that just doesn't hold up. Look here at John 5:20. For the Father loveth the Son. And notice what loveth is. It's not agapeo. It's phileo. Notice down here in John chapter 11. Therefore his sister sent unto him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom thou lovest is sick. Is that's the Lord loving someone? Does he only love them in kind of a friendly way? No. He's speaking about Lazarus here, and he loves Lazarus. But again, here the Father loves the Son. Does he just kind of like the Son, just kind of affectionate towards the Son? No. So it shows you that these words are basically interchangeable as used in the Bible. Now, they are different words, and they likely have subtle different meanings. But the way the Bible uses them is they are essentially the same. It could be like the words love and adore we use today. I love someone, I adore someone. Those words are different words, but they mean essentially the same thing. So here you can easily sort out and distinguish different ways that words are used and what they're translated from, and see if there's any significant difference. And you'll find here that the King James Version is correct. It translates each word as love each time, which is an accurate and truthful translation because of the way the words are used in the Bible. Now, we could also take a look at this passage as it's stacked up in our stacked view. And the easiest way to do that is just right-click on it, show stacked chapter, and let's go down to verse, well, let's color the parts of speech, and let's go down to verse 15. And you'll say, Jonas, lovest thou me? There it is, agapeo, and that's Strong's number G25. And again, it shows that it's a verb. It's green as a verb. We go to the next time that love is used, and he says, thou knowest that I love thee. Notice here it's phileo. It's a verb as well. So you see, you can look at it this way too, and you can see the verse in context. Another way to see the verse in context is to go to the King James viewer. And we go to verse 15, and here it is, lovest thou me? And again, the Greek word is agapeo, and over here the Greek word is phileo. So you can see how the words are, what the source of the words are, and how they are used and how they are translated, and also view the words in their context. So we could add, let's go down even more than an indicative. Let's go to imperative. Let's just type in imperative, and we can see that there are only 8 imperative commands that are verbs in the entire New Testament. And so what are we commanded? What is being commanded to love? What's in present, active, imperative mood? And you'll notice also we have the subject and the object. That's another unique feature of Lexoscope. It'll show you the subject and the object of the verbs. So, here's Luke, but I say unto you, which hear, love your enemies. And here, who's the subject? All those that hear. What are they supposed to do? Love, there's the verb. And who? What's the object? Their enemies. And again, here's another one. But love your enemies. Here it's an implied subject. Not all the subjects are listed because some of them are implied, and this only shows explicit subjects and explicit objects. But it's easy to find out who is implied by the context and reading the passage, reading the verse. Here, husbands are to love their wives. Husbands are to love their wives. And then it says you are supposed to love one another. So it says you have unfeigned love of the brethren. And you'll notice men are to love the brotherhood again. And then here in this last one, love not the world. So you don't love the world like you love, husbands are supposed to love their wives, or men, or believers are supposed to love the brethren. So this is interesting, how you can filter down, do lots of studies, sort terms, sort words. You can even see who is speaking. Here we find in the first 3, Jesus was speaking. The reason these others do not have anything listed for the speaker is because they are in the epistles and they are narratives. They're not an actual quote of someone speaking. But here it's an actual quote. And this is there's a countless amount of studies. You can always go back, and we could go back to love again, to our first search, and there's a countless amount of studies that you can do, and different ways that you can sort through the scriptures and find relationships between words and relationships between the Greek words and the English words and how the English words are used. But we just gave you a sample here of how you can do a study in Lexoscope and how it may be able to help you in your studies in the scriptures and draw you closer to the Lord and closer to the truth that can be found in His Word. Thank you.